Okay. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. May the peace and blessings of God be unto you all. Thank you for joining this open house, whether you are here live or if you are listening to the recording. If you're here live and you could hear me well, I'd love to hear from you in the chat, inshallah. I am going to keep this concise so that you can figure things out and learn about this, inshallah, very efficiently. So, first of all, I want to say hello to all of you individually, inshallah. Okay, thank you so much for letting me know that you could hear me. Okay, so one thing that's very important, and whether you are someone who's taken classes with me before or this is new for you, is that I care to get to know each of you individually. So there have been 13 people who've signed up for this open house, and each of your names are here, whether or not you will be with us live this evening or whatever time of day it is if you are in a different part of the world. So you should see your name there, inshallah. We are going to now go to an opening dua. Every time I do a class or anything, a one-on-one session, I always make sure to start with an opening dua. So I'm going to lead a short dua, inshallah, and then I'm going to give you a chance to make a dua or a supplication. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Ya Allah, thank you for joining us here today. Ya Allah, please allow us to achieve our goals for this dunya and the akhirah, inshallah. Ya Allah, increase us in our iman. Ya Allah, increase us in our faith. Ya Allah, bring us closer to you and allow this to be beneficial. Ameen, ameen, ya Rabbil Alameen. Go ahead and take a moment to yourself. And any dua, any supplication, any intention you want to set for right now, go ahead and do that. Okay, so you should be able to see me and you should be able to see my screen. And if anyone is having trouble, feel free to type into the chat. You are also more than welcome to let me know if you can see. You should see my slides right now. Previously, you should have been able to see your names, and now you should be able to see why is it called Glow Academy. So some of you might be familiar with Glow from the Inside Out. It was a program I did back in early 2015, and there are many free videos, a free video training on YouTube, which when I send out the recording, I will send out a link to that playlist if you're not familiar with it. But it was Glow stood for Glow from the Inside Out, and really focusing on mental, spiritual, and physical health, especially as it applies to women. I wanted to use the word glow for these sets of classes because to me, it embodies a very big component of the work that I do. So I am a holistic health and a lifestyle coach, and I help people achieve various different goals. And one concept that I use, whether I'm working with one-on-one clients or I'm working with students in a classroom setting, is that everything is inside of you, that I'm simply here as a professional who has personal experience. So I share a lot of personal stories because, I wasn't always, doing things like this, and I wasn't always thriving, whether it be physically, mentally, or emotionally, or spiritually as well. So I like to share that because it's not just about theory, but I get this from myself. And then also the fact that, everything is already inside of you simply is that, a coach, a teacher, whatever you want to call a person, whoever you might be seeking help with, even if it's a family member, no one is here to save you. Right? So everything is inside of you. And I believe that that is made possible through the creator of the heavens and the earth, God. So when I think of the word glow, I think of not whatever your goal is. And we're going to, I realize that people are here for different classes and it might be different for different individuals. But regardless, whatever your goal is, you already have all the tools necessary within you. Now, you might need some extra tools, but nonetheless, the framework is already inside of you. So when you think of glowing, something glows because it was dimmed before. So glowing really, to me, embodies the fact that everything is inside of you. So that's one thing. A lot of you might be familiar, and if you aren't familiar, that's fine as well, but some of you might be familiar with the different 2-hour intensive classes that I've done. I've done a Love Your Emotions 2-hour intensive class. I've done a marriage communication one on anxiety and depression, a spring detox program, many different classes of that nature. What's different about Glow Academy is that rather than just having one 2-hour intensive, is that each of the Glow Academy classes are a set of 3, so it's 3 series, each class 1.5-hour classes over the course of 3 months. So I've seen many students get lots of results from my 2-hour intensive classes, and I know one registrant to this open house mentioned that they wanted to know like what kind of results people have gotten from different programs. There's a plethora of quotes on the Glow page, and I will send that out, inshallah, from different previous students. But other than that, it's really about, lifelong learning. And it's really about getting results, not just after a 2-hour intensive class, but what I'm trying to achieve here with Glow is really bringing that over a longer period of time. So for instance, when I did a Love Your Emotions class, I did keep in touch with many of the students, and I get emails sometimes about people who are using their tools and whatnot from that class, but it's very different to then have another class 1 month later. So that's there. Now, Glow Academy is also big on lifelong learning. So what does lifelong learning mean? Lifelong learning is really when you take learning into your own hands. So outside of what we've learned in traditional schooling, and I realize some people here might have, maybe still are students, and maybe they're in college, or, some people might have never gone to college and their learning ended, their school learning ended, at high school. Some people might have graduate degrees or be in graduate school. Regardless, outside of traditional schooling, I'm a firm believer in lifelong learning. That's when you take classes on personal development. That's when you read on your own. That's when you maybe do things like book clubs, basically learning, considering yourself a lifelong student. While I am a teacher and a coach, I am also a lifelong learner, a lifelong student. So Glow Academy is also, big on lifelong learning. Now, you'll see here 3 things, and I'd love, if anyone could tell me if they're having trouble seeing the slides, but I think that everything is coming through well, alhamdulillah. So 3 things that I'll be focused on. There are 4 classes being offered this fall semester through Glow Academy, and I'll go through each one of those. But each of the classes, I will be focusing on 3 powerful things. Your perspective, so how you choose to see things. I'll get to that a little bit later. Your thoughts, so how you control your thoughts. Now, we can't always control what crosses our mind, right? We do have power, though. I'm a big believer in personal responsibility. So I'm not a fan of people who throw their hands in the air and try to, play victim mode. And I've experienced this, and I've done this myself in the past. So I'm not speaking from a pedestal or anything like that. But I'm here to say that what Glow Academy stands for is really taking responsibility for your life. If there's something that you want, whether it's a goal or a desire, recognize that you have the power to change that. And that's really what Glow Academy is about. So, I'm a firm believer that one way you could control your thoughts is what you surround yourself with. So what you think about, what you read, what you expose your eyes to, what you let your ears hear, all those different things, where you go physically, that impacts your thoughts. At the same time, the brain, the mind is a really complex thing. And, I find that women especially deal with this. I know that I've done a lot of personal work in this area and still continue to. But sometimes we can have these thoughts that are just not serving to ourselves. And, if you are, Glow Academy students are, Glow Academy is not just open to those who practice Islam. Of course, it's open to everyone, but most of the students that have shown interest are Muslims. And, I do incorporate Islam and just God in general a lot in my work. And what I want to say there is sometimes some of the thoughts that cross our mind don't even come from us. They might come from Shaitan, the devil. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, it's not only controlling what comes through your mind, but also what you allow to grow. What do you take action on? So Glow Academy is big on action. Now let's get a little bit, that is, pretty vague what I've spoken about thus far. Let's talk about the 4 classes that are offered. I will be sharing some information about each of these classes in the order of their popularity, by the way, because when everyone signed up for this, I asked what class are you interested in. So I'll go in the order of their popularity. And I will actually, on Monday, you'll learn about this a little bit later, but on Monday, I'll be providing a tool that you could use to help yourself figure out if the class or classes that you're interested in, if they are indeed beneficial for you. So I'll talk about that. So it's going to be a brief overview of each of the classes because I value your time and I want to, give you an overview. And then, of course, if there are any specific questions, I'm saving the last 10 minutes or so of this class to answer the questions I already received. And then if anyone wants to submit any live, inshallah. So the most popular class was the Emotional Freedom Mastery for Highly Sensitive Women. Out of the 13 who registered, I believe the number was 10. Let's see here. I have my notes. Give me 1 second. Okay. Yeah, so the number was, thank you for your patience there, should have had this here, but the number was 10 out of the 13 of you who showed interest. And I realize that there are, plenty of people who have been showing interest in Glow Academy in general who didn't register for this or whatnot, but I'm strictly speaking about those who did. So we're going to start with that. First of all, I'm assuming those of you who are interested in this class probably already have determined that you are an HSP or a highly sensitive person. If not, I will be sending some information as to how you could figure that out. But basically, when someone is a highly sensitive person, they interpret the world differently. For some people, it might be having higher sensory levels, whether it be sound or even smell or touch or what you see. And also, more commonly, being more emotional, being more sensitive. I myself am a highly sensitive person, and I've done a lot of work in this area. Back in 2013, I ran a hormone and emotion study. And I did an Love Your Emotion class back in 2015. And since 2012, I've been working with women one-on-one, tackling some things a little bit more in depth there. And so, yeah, it's definitely a big, big, big thing that many women struggle with in terms of learning how to maximize their emotions and how to, gain emotional freedom. Now, let me share with you what I mean by emotional freedom. When I say emotional freedom, it's basically using your emotions, unlocking the gift that your emotions are versus your emotions controlling your life and leading you to destructive behaviors. And if you follow me on Instagram, my username is Yasmin Isa, and I will include a link to that in the follow-up email with the recording. If you follow on me there, I have been posting not only about that class, but the other classes as well, if you want to learn a little bit more. But it's a 3-series course, and it'll be focused on teaching effective tools to practice emotional freedom. Now, let me show you something. Actually, I'll hold off to share this in a moment. Okay, so the other class for the fall 2016 semester is a self-care and rejuvenation class for mothers. So this is for mothers who basically want to take better care of themselves and want to thrive more, who know that they could be taking better care of themselves but are not for whatever reason. A big focus in this class will be on reducing overwhelm, reducing guilt, reducing shame that mothers often deal with, inshallah. So I'm giving a very brief overview here, and you will soon learn what I am in the process of creating for you so that you could really learn a little bit more about these classes and actually do a worksheet to help you figure out if each of these respective classes is beneficial for you. So the third one is prophetic inspiration for heart-centered entrepreneurs. This one definitely is very dear to my heart. They're really all dear to my heart, to be honest. And I probably had over a dozen ideas of classes to offer for the fall semester. And these four I picked because they are topics I really enjoy teaching, number one. Number two, I know I have the tools to give students results, inshallah. And they're very, very close to my heart. And, you know, if you follow me on social media, I've been posting a lot of stories and whatnot if you want to learn more about that. But yes, so this class is for ideally people who already have a business, but if someone is kind of in the process of starting, it might be good for them. Again, there'll be a worksheet for you to figure out if this is good for you. Now, what do I mean by prophetic inspiration? Basically, and what do I mean by heart-centered entrepreneur? Heart-centered entrepreneur is someone who is an entrepreneur that could be for various reasons. I know for myself, I love creativity. I love creating things. I love the freedom of entrepreneurship. I like, helping people and whatnot. But when you're a heart-centered entrepreneur, you're focused on making a difference through your business, making a difference in the lives of others. And in this course, there'll be a lot of drawing from prophetic inspiration. So stories of the prophets will be used and different things to really help those who are entrepreneurs thrive even more, because it's tough being an entrepreneur and nonetheless a heart-centered one. So just like it's tough, being highly sensitive, and it's tough being a mother to take care of yourself. So the course will be focused on creating more alignment for those who are business owners, flow, freedom, and success in their business while focusing on, making a difference. And then for the moms class and the entrepreneur class, sorry, I didn't mention this, those were pretty popular as well. About half of you who registered for this were interested in those, so 6 out of 13 for each of those. And then a little less popular was the delicious and fun nutrition and cooking for kids. And I don't think we had any kids who registered, but I know there were, I believe, 3 people who were interested, possibly for their children and whatnot. But this is a really cool class, especially if you have kids or if you have, nieces or nephews or, know someone with a kid. But basically, kids will be learning how to really work their way around a kitchen and how to cook and the importance of nutrition and whatnot. And anyone who's been following my work long enough knows that I love nutrition and it's a daily part of my life. And it wasn't always that way, though. So it definitely was not always that way. And that's why I'm passionate about helping kids start at the get-go. Now, let's get into, each course is comprised of 3 class sessions. All the courses start in October. Each session, so each of those 3 sessions for each class comes with the following: a PreClass Questionnaire form. So this is something I've been doing for a few years. And if you go to the Glow page and read some of the testimonials, you'll find that a lot of students find this very valuable. But basically, sometime, usually it's a couple of days or a week. Usually it's more like a week, to be honest. But the deadline might be a couple of days. I will send a questionnaire form before each class so I could actually, and they're private, so you submit the forms and no one else is going to see what you submit, so only I'm going to see it. And basically, I am learning from you your personal experiences on the subject material that will be taught in that upcoming class. This is really powerful because it allows me to cater class to the specific students of the class. And what I also do is I share responses in those classes, but they're always anonymous. So if I know one of the, many people love this a lot, but one that rings a bell for me is someone who said how she loves that it could help her feel heard and that her personal requests or personal things that she's dealing with are actually addressed in the classes, but she maintains her privacy. It's a really nice way to get a little bit more one-on-one touch when you're in a class setting. Of course, classes never substitute one-on-one coaching or whatnot, but the reason why I offer classes is because it's a really great way to be part of a community. It is more accessible in terms of, what it costs. And so those pre-class questionnaires are really powerful and they help me get to know you. And I actually designed the specific classes with you and your concerns in mind. Each class is an hour and a half. It'll be using the same exact class software that is being used for this open house. So there are so many different ways to connect. You can connect through your computer. You just have to do a simple download process. You can connect on your iPad or tablet or smartphone, Android or iPhone, just by downloading the Zoom app. You can call by telephone. If you are on the computer or on your app, you can absolutely turn off your camera if you don't want to be seen, or you can have it on. There's chat capabilities. Not really using a lot of them right now, but I'm able to share my screen with you. I'm able to annotate things. Like, for instance, right now we're talking about this. So it's a very cool class tool. A shared slide deck, so a PowerPoint through Google Slides that I will share with you that you can use, and then 30-minute Q&A capabilities. So each class is an hour and a half long. What do I mean by capabilities? I will leave open 30 minutes for questions so that you are able to get your interactive needs met. If I find that we have less questions for that day or there's not 30 minutes worth of questions, I will have more prepared content to go through, but we will at least have 30-minute Q&A capability. And in my experience, usually we have more questions than time. So that is that. And then there is a post-class recommended homework assignment so that in between the classes, there's about a month between each class, you have assignments to do and ways to practice what we're doing. And I'm still finalizing what I will be using for this specific class, but there will be capability to stay connected and, seek support in between the classes and connect with both the other students as well as myself. Okay, so okay. So tuition, for these classes, I offer a pick your own price sliding scale. So the classes are 3 months long, one class per month, as I mentioned before, 1.5 hours per class, and interaction in between the class and what I mentioned for before the class and after the class. And basically, there are 3 monthly payments. You get to choose if you want to pay $19 a month, $29 a month, or $39 per month for those 3 months. And the reason why I offer sliding scales is because a few reasons. One, I like to keep my classes accessible. I trust students to make the fair choice based on their situation, and I've been using this for quite some time now. And it's helped students who maybe couldn't access classes otherwise access them. And also, I've seen time and time again that people are very respectful. And if they have the funds to, to pay, the other options the higher options, they absolutely do. So that is that. And it's all through PayPal. And then class delivery, I mentioned before, it's through this software. And then it is recommended that you participate live and that you come on live. But I realize that everyone here leads busy. I don't actually like to use the word busy. That's something I'm actually working on my vocabulary, but full lives. And so I do provide all class recordings, and you have those for a lifetime. Now, let's see. Here are some questions to ask yourself. Number 1, how do you know if these classes are for you? Let me show you something. Can you see, I'd love if you could see this, if you could let me know in the chat, but could you see this document? It says the Do I Need This Course Worksheet, Self-Care and Rejuvenation for Moms Edition. I will be, let's see here. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know, Seema. I appreciate that very much. So I am on Tuesday. I might have said Monday before. Not Monday, but on Tuesday, which I believe is the 13th, inshallah, I will be publishing these documents, and you will get them straight to your email, being that you signed up for this open house. And I will also publish them on my website. But basically, and I've used this before, I've used this for my marriage communication class. I've created, and I'm in the process of finalizing them, documents where you can go through and actually answer certain questions. So this one here in front of you, and it's not finalized, is the Do I Need This Course Worksheet. It's for the Self-Care and Rejuvenation for Moms class. Now, someone who's interested in that class, what that mother would do would go through and answer, does she feel burnt out more often than she'd like? If yes, she'd check yes. Does she have trouble asking for help? If no, no. Does she feel easily overwhelmed? If yes, yes. So you'd go through all of those prompts, and then at the end, you'll see that there is an analysis. And of course, I trust you to be the driver in your life and to know what's best for you. So this is simply my recommendation from you. I want students who want to be in the class. I want students who are going to benefit from the class. I'm not looking to enroll anyone in any of the classes who are not going to benefit or who do not want to. But these are, and I take careful time to really prepare these. These are my analysis. So for this specific one, if someone answered less than 5, what I'm saying is you're not really in dire need of this class, but it can benefit you, especially if you are keen on making your self-care go up for the mothers. If someone got 6 through 10, I share with them that they're at a crossroads and explain some things there. If it's over 10 or more prompts, I share that I really highly recommend you take the class, that it'll benefit you. And then, of course, I have this here. All of my classes, all my one-on-one coaching goes this way. If you hate it, of course, I'll refund you. So that's that. And then at the end of the PDFs are, the information for how to register and whatnot. So there will be 4 of these that you will receive. And obviously, you can do this privately. If you want to share it with me, you absolutely can. If after doing this you have questions, you can email me. Now, I want to respect your time. We have just hit the 30-minute mark. I will probably, not probably, but inshallah, we will be going for, let's say, 5 to 7 more minutes, inshallah. If you have to go, that's totally fine, and you can listen to the recording. But inshallah, my goal is to keep this very concise. And so let's go here. Before doing those worksheets that you'll get from me, there are some questions that you can ask yourself. Think of the class or classes that you're interested in. One question you could ask is, do you have goals or desires in the area of this class that you're interested in? If the answer is yes, hold on, and I'll tell you what you're going to do there. And then 2, do you value lifelong learning? If you get yes for both of those, you are probably going to want to take the class you're interested in, but you probably want to figure out what level you are. So, for instance, let's say someone is highly sensitive and their emotions often cause them issues in their relationships with other people, or they feel misunderstood. Therefore, they're frustrated. So they have a desire to, be able to unlock their emotions, but there's frustration there. They would fall in level 1. They have a desire and they're frustrated. Or let's say someone is an entrepreneur and they have goals and they're not meeting those goals, so they're frustrated. Both of those people would fall in level 1, camp frustrated. Now, if you're in camp frustrated, what you want to ask yourself is, are you ready for a change? Simply because I'm offering this class and I know that the tools I'm giving you are very powerful, that's not enough for you to benefit from these classes. You will benefit from these classes if you are ready for a change, if you are going to take the action steps. So that's there. Another one is maybe you're not frustrated. Maybe you have a goal of, being even more emotionally empowered, or, someone has a desire to start a business, but it's not bothering them. So they're camp not frustrated. That person needs to ask themselves, are you a professional or an amateur? So the problem, this is a Stephen Pressfield quote that I love. The problem is that we're thinking like amateurs. When an amateur encounters adversity, an amateur folds. When an amateur yields distraction, a professional does not. When an amateur yields to distraction, a professional does not. Now, there's nothing wrong with being an amateur. It's not to be rude or anything like that. But if you want to treat, your life professionally, even if you're not frustrated, you would go after your goals if you want to do it professionally. I hope that makes sense there. But someone in level 2 is going to have a little bit less desire because they're not experiencing frustration on a daily basis. And then camp 3 is camp consideration. So let's say someone has an interest, like, oh, this class sounds like it would be fun. It sounds like it would be fun for my kid to learn how to cook. But there's not frustration there, and there's not a huge desire or a goal. What you have to ask yourself then is, are you hungry? And I don't mean, it's funny that I'm using the nutrition class example, but I'm not talking about physical hunger. By the way, I'm pretty corny sometimes, so full disclaimer there. If you don't like it, then you might not like my teaching style, which is okay. Alhamdulillah. But what I mean by are you hungry is, are you hungry for change? So is your interest strong enough that you want to you want to take heed there? So those are some basic questions. Figure out which camp you fall in, and that will help you figure out, if you're in level 1, you're probably, more likely to want to take one of these classes, and it decreases a little bit as you go on. But more powerfully is the Do I Need This Class worksheet. Now, the last thing I want to share here before I take any questions, which I've answered almost all of the pre-questions except for one, which I'll get to, and I'll see if anyone has any live questions, is 2 important dates you want to note. So the Is This For You class forms, that will be live Tuesday, September 13th. You want to look out for those. You want to fill it out for the classes you're interested in so you could figure out if those are for you. Number 2, the actual registration deadline for these classes is Friday, September 23rd. All the classes start in October. I will be sending out the dates. They're already live on the website. I did change up some of the dates if you had seen them previously, but everything is now finalized. Basically, all of the adult classes will be happening on a Wednesday from 7 to 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and the kids class is on a Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I took a lot of consideration with the dates that were picked. Each class is once a month, and you are able to see those dates on the Glow page, and you'll get this all nice in an email, so no need to, feel confused or anything like that. But yes, obviously it's not possible to make everyone happy because people are in different time zones, but I took a lot of consideration when considering the times for those. Now, anyone who is here live, if you have a live question, now is the time to submit it before we wrap up. And I know other than that, I've answered, I think I have 2 questions that I got pre-submitted that I did not answer. One is, what kind of results have previous classes gotten? What you're going to want to do is read the testimonials on my website for that question. I will send a link in the recording email, inshallah. If you have further questions for me regarding that, or you want to know some more concrete evidence or facts as you asked for the person who asked that, you can absolutely email me. If anyone has any questions after this and wants to ask privately, you can email me. And then as I pull up the other question that I know I haven't answered yet, again, now is the time that if you want a question, you'd want to type it into the chat. Do I offer one-on-one coaching sessions? I do, inshallah. And thank you for your question that was submitted live. I will send you a private email on that information to see if that's something for you, and so I could learn more about your interest. Does that sound good, inshallah? And thank you for being here live. I really appreciate that. Okay, awesome. And then before we wrap up, one more thing is, someone asked a question about networking. Let me find it. Here we go. So the question was, this person wants to network with the right people to help you promote your project globally and locally in the US, and this is for the entrepreneurship class. I will send you a private email because that's a very specific question, inshallah. But I will send you a private email, inshallah. And if anyone has any specific questions, feel free to email me. I will answer you, inshallah. Thank you so much if you've attended live, and thank you if you're listening to the recording. That is still very honorable. I know that we all lead full lives. And one of my favorite, well, I don't know if I could call her favorite because I didn't learn about her too long ago, but the whole busy versus full, I will share where I got that from, inshallah. So thank you again, and I will, inshallah, keep in touch with all of you soon. Look out for the PDFs coming out, inshallah, and keep those dates in mind. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. May the rest of your day or night be blessed, inshallah.